presence. I am going to dive right in here on the GMAP Broadcast Network and say good afternoon, Kay. How are you?
I'm doing well, Pastor. I'm doing very well. I want to thank you, starting off, thanking you for this opportunity to chat with you about my latest book.
You know, your latest book has generated a huge buzz. And of course, we are honored that you have accepted the invitation to be a part of our broadcast network family. We're so grateful. We're honored, we're privileged, and we are blessed to have you. Why don't you do me a favor? Okay, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit who you are. Tell us who you are. Tell us where you're from.
Uh, okay, well, my name is Kimberly Smith, but I go by K Danielle now. I was born and raised in a small town called Woodville, Mississippi. I currently live in Indianapolis, Indiana now. I have for, it'll be 21 years in June. I am married to my wonderful husband, Sherwin. We have three kids. My oldest is Kendall, my middle daughter, Sanaya, and my son, Trey.
I am just grateful again to have you here on today. And of course, we know for a fact that your publication is going to generate a huge buzz. Why don't you, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about your current publication and share that information with our viewers and listeners today?
Okay. Well, I this has been a journey releasing this book because it's very close, near dear to my heart, and it was an emotional roller coaster ride. The name of my book is called F Cancer, and it was written last year, actually, right at the beginning of the pandemic in March of 2020, and it is. Basically my love letter to my mom, who passed away in 2017 to a rare cancer called sarcoma cancer. It's a soft tissue cancer. She was diagnosed in 2015 and fought that battle for almost 2 years. And long before, I mean, I would say a few months before um, she passed away, God had given me basically instructions on what I was supposed to do, and that is to write a book. So I've been a writer since eighth grade, and I released a book of poetry right after my mom was diagnosed with cancer. And I've also then since then published three children's books. So I'm no stranger to writing. However, when God told me that my mom was not going to win this battle on this side, it was heartbreaking. It was life altering, but He gave me specific instructions, and I was supposed to start writing this book after her burial, and I could not do it. I refused to do it. So you could say, as a matter of fact, I was disobedient. I just could not bring myself to write these words because for me as a writer, words mean finality, and I wasn't at the place. I'm still not at a place where I can even accept that she's no longer here. So in March, he eliminated all of the excuses, um, and I sat down and I wrote the book in 30 days. And this book has been um, emotional, life changing, and I can't wait to share it with the world.
Well, I, I I'm I'm not at a loss of words, but I'm so interested in trying to figure out how is it that you were able to move forward and, of course, provide this publication of cancer behind writing also a children's book or books. I know that people may look at that kind of strangely, but how did that concept come to play? What was the root foundation behind it?
Well, when I first started my writing journey, I never intended on writing children's books. That was never a passion for me. It was never something that I wanted to do. I wanted to be a novelist and nothing more than that. I started reading at a very early age, but I want to say right after I released my first book of poetry, because I had written poetry since eighth grade, and the poems spanned about 10 years. I started getting these ideas for characters based on my kids or inspired by my kids. And it was based on their nicknames. And I just started getting all of these ideas and I started to write them down. And I was like, well, wouldn't it be cool to write a few books for them as part of their childhood, something that they can pass down from generation to generation. At the time, wasn't looking to sell the book, wasn't looking to do anything other than it was my gift to my kids to present them with a few children's books based on a character that was inspired by them. And I did so. I started writing this series and I released um, the first children's book, my oldest daughter's character. It's called BB's Surprise Party. And in those children's books, I integrate their parts of their childhood and their personality into the character. And so I started writing these books, and it's fun. I got to visit schools. I got to read to almost, I would say, well over 3,000 kindergarten from kindergarten to fifth grade. I got to read to these students, share my stories, laugh, let them ask me questions. And part of that was just being able to show them early on that they can be an author if that's what they're interested in. For me, if I had met an author at an early age, the way that these children have had the opportunity to do so, I couldn't imagine where my writing career would be. I met my first author in my early 20s. And
Wow.
so it gave me the opportunity to go into schools, share my stories, laugh with the kids, spend time with them, let them ask me questions, let them see that I'm a normal person just like they are. I just so happen to have written a book. And so I did this and I enjoyed it, but my goal has always been my goal audience has always been adults.
Mm.
Granted, this book was not my intention at all. It was I never saw this in any of the dreams and the plans that I had for myself as a writer. This book wasn't part of that. And in me knowing eventually I will be writing for strictly just adults anyway, and given the instructions that God gave me about this book, I knew that I had to write it. And so I separated myself, so to speak, which is why I go by K Danielle. And my children's books are under my real name, my full name, I should say. And so I wanted to separate myself because I didn't want to also place myself in this box. I didn't want to just be a children's book author. I want to be a novelist. And so this is just one getting me one step closer to my goal. So this book is for my adult readers, and it's for people who women who find themselves have lost their mom, whether it's to cancer or any other. I focus on my journey and my mom's journey with her battle with cancer and how that has changed my life, and how it has impacted me. So being able to separate myself as an adult writer and the children's book writer actually came pretty easy.
Wow. Now I know that you currently have a publication out that you recently released for the children. Oh my goodness! If you wouldn't mind, what is the name of the publication that you have out currently for the children?
Currently, it is my latest children's book. Well, my last children's book that I published for is for my middle daughter. Her name is Sanaya, and the name of the book is called Lulu for the Win. Lulu is a ladybug that plays basketball, and the character was created because when my daughter was born, she had these huge brown eyes, and they just were it set apart in her little tiny face, and so we nicknamed her Ladybug, and that's what we called her. And that kind of morphed into her name is Anaya, so we call her Naya for short. And we rotate between calling her Ladybug and Naya Bug. And so this character, the story is actually about a basketball game that took place. And I got the idea sitting at one of her games because she plays basketball. And because the first book in her series was not going to be actually sports related. But I got this idea sitting at a basketball game, and so I wrote the story for her.
Wow. Well, I am just overwhelmed with joy. First and foremost, for those that don't know, of course, K Danielle is one of our featured authors on the GMAP Broadcast Network. Woo woo. And of course, you can always stop by the GMAP Broadcast Network. We're located at gmap1.com. That's GMAP, the number one.com. click on the tab that says bookstore and or click on the tab that says children's book. And of course, you will see a copy of the current cover that I'm showing you on our split television screen here on the GMAP Broadcast Network. Lulu for the win, and of course, F Cancer. We want you to show your love, care, concern, and support. Click on those covers. It will take you to the necessary location to show your love, your care, concern, and support. Now, listen, we don't do this to make the individual rich. We're not doing this to pad their pocket. We're doing this to simply show our support so that the author can continue to move forward to disseminate this information, these nice publications to people around the world for whatever reason they choose to grab them, whether it's for entertainment, whether it's for information, whether it's just to be encouraged and inspired to move forth and carry out your dreams. We want you to show your support by purchasing. And speaking of that, if someone wanted to show their support, okay, and wanted to purchase a copy of your publications, what would be the process to do so?
They can visit my website, www.thekdanielle.com, and that's KDANIELLE.com. They can also find it on Amazon. They can just search for K Danielle, or they can search for the title F Cancer. Lulu for the Win is also on Amazon, and can Lulu for the Win, my children's book, can be purchased at www.peppermintpb.com.
Now, for instance, what if someone wanted to reach out and connect with you on a more intimate or personal level? What would be the process to do that?
Well, they can email me at hello@kdanielle.com. Hello at thekdanielle.com. And then I am also on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter under K Danielle.
Well, we thank God that you have allowed these publications to be disseminated to people. And of course, we do not want any of you to forget about little old GMAP Broadcast Network down here in the lower left hand corner of everything. You can again stop by our platform and click on the publication cover, and it will take you to the necessary location to get, purchase, and or show your support. Now, when you go to, I believe, Amazon, make sure you leave a review.
Yes.
That's important. Let them know whether you like it or not, whether you're happy or not, whether you're pleased or not, whether you're satisfied or not. Leave a review just to let Amazon as well as the author know that you have taken time out to look more in detail into the publications, and you want to show your support by at least letting them know how you feel about what it is that they have released. And of course, we are grateful to let you know that if there's anything that we can do to continuously assist you along your journey, we want to let you know that the answer is always yes, and you will never have to ask us twice. Before I let you go, I want to find out, after you have reached this point in your life, you've disseminated these publications, you've made it a passion to write and provide these publications for people around the world. What's next for K Danielle? What's your response to that?
Well, what's next is I do plan to finish the children's book series for my three kids. So the last in the bunch, my youngest, my son, I actually going to start working on his first book in his series in a couple of months. I'm working with an illustrator now to get that started. And then after that, actually, I will be writing a follow-up book to F Cancer. And that is more me being transparent about life on the other side of loss. So in F Cancer, I talk about my mom's battle and my battle with grief after her passing. And in this next book, it is a real life look at, for me, grief in real time. I have not handled her death in the healthiest way, and I realized that not only with writing the book, but even in just everyday life since her passing. And so I've talked to several people, and I keep my circle really small when it comes to my vulnerability as it relates to my grief and in understanding who I am and getting to know this new person, because I'll never be the same person that I was
Right.
before she passed away.
Right.
And so this next book will be a more detailed look at just dealing with grief in
Right.
a more personal and a more real way, and normalizing the fact that when you lose someone as close as your mom or any parent or even or child, how life changing it is, and how we need to normalize going through those emotions, and that there is no timetable as it
Right.
relates to grieving someone that you have lost.
Right.
And once I am done being obedient with that, I hope to take my writing career to another level and start focusing on what my actual goal really was, which was to write novels.
Right. Well, again, I must let you know that we appreciate you accepting the invitation, allowing us to be a part
Thank
of your
you.
journey. And of course, I only really respond to certain things in a way to where I can relate to what you're saying. I have been able to experience some very personal, I guess you can say, homegoings for some family members, but I have not experienced losing my mother. But I do know that there are many people out there who can relate, who would love to reach out and talk to you, and I'm sure they will. I'm encouraging them on this day to reach out and even if it's just to hold a conversation to find out some of the
Right.
things that you may have went through in order to stand firm and keep pressing. So I encourage you all to do that. Um, at the same time, we just want to let you know to stay and be encouraged no matter what. I
Thank you.
always give this advice. As a pastor, you know we're always a pastor. We're not a pastor just inside of
Okay.
four walls on Sunday morning. And as a pastor, it's always necessary for me to share encouraging information or encouraging words to individuals like yourself. I always tend to maintain by keeping those that I have lost or those that have been called home up front. What do you mean, Pastor? Well, I mean, I never really recognized them as gone. I always recognized them as simply not being here in this place at this time. I was talking to a young man one day and I said, you know, when my son gets here, he's going to put you on the court and do something to you. He's going to show you what it's like to play. You know, and my son has been called home. My brothers have been called home, but I never recognized them in the past. And I want to share that with you today. Always know that your mother and those that you may have lost along the way are not gone. They are not gone forever. They're simply not there where you are at this time. Keep encouraging yourself to move
Thank
forward.
you.
Know that God is in control and keep doing what God has blessed you to do. Make us all proud, including
Thank you.
those that are not in your because I'm not in your present place. I can be considered gone, but
Right.
never look at them in the past. Always look at them in the present, and it will hold you firmly strong to keep pressing, keep praying, and keep praising. We love you, sister, and we
Thank
want
you
you to
so
know
much.
that. Anything we can do, let us know and continue to reach out. We're going to be inviting you back as you continue to move forward to be a blessing to God's people, okay?
Definitely appreciate the opportunity, Pastor. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'll make sure to get that information that you requested from me over to you real soon. We
Okay.
appreciate you being here. We want you to do two things for us: be blessed and be a blessing. God
Thank
bless
you.
you, and you have
God
a
bless you.
wonderful, wonderful afternoon. You take care,
You
okay?
too. All right. Thank you.